We had one ACL injury in 2 years at Flinders United. Here's how we did it. We focused on building buy-in with the players from when we first got there about how an S&C program and an effective program in injury prevention program is going to work. The first things we had to do was educate. So at the beginning of last year, I made sure to educate and to relate what we were doing in training with what was happening in the game to ensure that the players knew that what they were doing was going to be effective for them on the field. If they know that what we're doing is going to help them on the field, they're going to have more buy-in to what we're doing. Implement a warm-up protocol. Warm-ups have to be effective. What that incorporated was we did a progressive warm-up. So our warm-up changed over the year as players got more proficient at the movements that they were doing. What we needed to do is ensure that what they were getting was progressively loaded across the board. Warm-up started with things like low jumps, double-footed jumps, run-throughs, sideways movement. We're moving in 3 planes, forwards, backwards, side to side, and in rotation. Then we started to add in hopping, skipping, bounding, straight leg running. And then as we progressed throughout the year, we got into things like body hits, perturbation work, and dynamic, agility, change of direction. It was really about getting the players to understand that what they were doing in a warm-up had a direct translation to what they were doing then in training. And that also then had a direct translation to what they were doing on the field. Then, as we progressed throughout the year, warm-ups got more intense, trainings got more intense. Towards the middle of the year, we started to take off the load a little bit. And then we actually went into another 6-week block that was actually a lot more intensive. The reason for this is that at that time of year, once players have had 12, 13, 14 games, a lot of teams will take the foot off the accelerator, let the players kind of coast a bit. Don't do as much in training, focus on tactics, not going to run as much. This is when injuries are going to occur a lot more because taking the foot off during the week and asking players to put the foot on during the weekend is a surefire way to start to get an increase in soft tissue injuries, joint-based injuries, fatigue-based injuries. We're not going to put them in positions of danger, but we are going to put them in positions of risk. We're going to ensure that the risks that we're taking are balanced with the outcomes that we want. This next 6-week period, towards the end of the year, pushes them hard. They are physically tired, they are tested, and they are challenged. But the thing is, the load stays the same. We ask them to put in the work in training, and then they put in the work at the games, and then we reduce the risk of injuries that we get. When you're looking at prevalence of injury in players, what we have shown through the work that we've done over this last 2 years is that ACL injuries, if training is done, strengthening, conditioning, programming, load management, understanding the players that you're working with, building buy-in to the program, done effectively, ACL injuries are not a thing anymore. The prevalence of them is not as high anymore. Achieving the outcomes that we want, we're training the players like the human beings that they are. If there's a way to minimize the risk of these injuries occurring, is a multifactorial approach to strength and conditioning. You have to progressively work with them where they're at, and this is exactly why we've had the outcomes that we've had. I'm extremely proud of the work we've done, and we're going to put out a lot more on this and our approach to it now that we've got the data, and now we can actually show, hey, here's how we did it, and here's how you can do it too. We want to help the league, we want to help clubs, we want to help teams, significantly reduce the risk of injuries, and significantly reduce the prevalence of ACL injuries occurring in female players. Let's go.